All right, when you have a hit, a huge hit like Die Hard probably was, right?
Yeah.
Probably was. Is inevitable that you're going to have a sequel to the hit, and thus comes Die Hard 2. Now that came out, I think 2 years later, 1990, I think.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2. I actually, the only Die Hards I saw in the theater were 3 and 4. So
I just saw the fourth one in the theater.
Yeah. So I didn't obviously see the second one in the theater either. It was one that I saw on home video back in the day, like '91. I think it came out on VHS tape, and I liked it as a kid, and I like it now. I mean, I think it's a kind of a blatant sequel. Why don't you just continue?
The word that I would use for this movie is it's serviceable. It's serviceable as a sequel. Like, I mean, you get what you like. In the first movie, you liked that John McClane character, and he's very strong and present here. Almost a little too much. But, and then you had a villain in the first movie that you hate but you understood. This one, they took out the understanding, and you just hate the guy. Which, I mean, works for the time. Like,
because, yeah, the marriage is still on the rocks. At the end of every Die Hard movie, he embraces a wife as if it's happily ever after.
Yeah.
And the next one, he's always on the rocks.
Yeah, or she's just not even there.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, like, the villain in the second one, like, he worked. I hated him. I mean, there you have it. The action... I think, oddly enough, the action and special effects aren't quite as good as they were in the first movie.
Ironic 2 years later, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years later, you'd think they'd have more money, they could do it, but they even had, like, a no-name villain, like, as far as I know. I have no idea who he is.
I think he's got a name.
He does, I'm sure. But, like, it wasn't like the first movie where you have Alan Rickman or something. So, like, I'm not sure why the money wasn't spent to make good special effects. I mean, the scene where the plane blows up and then he flies up in the ejector seat and then comes back down, that really dated, really lame looking now.
I think it's kind of cool. The only thing I thought was stupid is that he comes all the way up and then he like drifts out of the screen completely sideways. It's like, wouldn't you just go down?
Yeah.
I never understood why he drifted out of the scene sideways.
Strong wind.
But I like the yell he did the whole way up there. Whoa, shit! I think he says as he drifts completely sideways out of the shot.
Again, you have the incompetent cops, the completely incompetent cops who trumped the first one. The problem with Die Hard 2 was that it was a flat-out remake of the first movie.
I was going to say,
like,
if you were going to ever let me get anything in, I was going to say it is a remake.
Yeah, it is basically just a remake of the first one with lesser talent.
Yeah,
basically.
It is Rennie Harlan who... I don't know if his movie before, if he did anything in between Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and
I don't think
Die
so.
Hard
I think
2.
it was...
So it's like, we saw Nightmare on Elm Street 4, let's get that guy.
Which is, what a strange choice of director for the
weird?
movie.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I mean, I think he did a decent job.
Oh, it's competent. I mean,
like,
it could have been a lot worse, as I say in
yeah.
reviews a lot.
But, I mean, it's definitely the worst of the Die Hard movies. But one of the things that works really well in it is the holiday theme. Like, you have real snow.
That's one thing that I like more than the first one. That's
Yeah.
one thing I like, is that it is a winter movie, and you
Yeah.
have all that snow atmosphere.
The snow, you have the parkas, you have the,
all that
the
stuff.
breath
Yeah,
and stuff like it just feels like I'm sitting there relating to the movie because I'm from Minnesota and it's like, my God.
Midwest.
But, so I mean, like, that works. It's funny that, like, you watch the movie now and none of it would have been able to get by because because of the whole 9/11 thing. There's no way you can do an action terrorist movie with planes and stuff like that. Like, it is so clearly of its time, and like none of it could happen now. Like, that movie wouldn't have been made. Yeah, I mean, I've never actually been able to watch the movie all the way through without falling asleep. Every single time, and I've seen it 4 or 5 times. I have seen the whole movie. I fall asleep at different parts in the movie, but like, it's just pacing-wise, unlike the first one, which was just like pacing in this one, where they tried to do that, I fall asleep somewhere around the middle, and I usually just like a quick cat nap, and then I'm up again when I hear a big bang. But I think that's a big deterrent for this movie. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Because the action kind of works, the characters kind of work, everything kind of works. I mean, it's relatively well made. So I'll give it 3 stars. It's just a far cry from the perfection that was Die Hard.
I'll probably go 3 as well. I mean, it is hard to top something that is Die Hard, and a huge aspect for why I like 2 is what you said before, that it is, I don't know where it is, if it's the East Coast or where it takes place, you know?
I think it's probably New York, right? Because they're going back home or
Could
something
be,
like that.
but one of the huge aspects I love about it is the fact that finally, unlike the first one, you do have a winter setting, which is like harsh, cold, and that's always really atmospheric in movies for me, and it lends, I mean, it's a character itself, that kind of weather, for me, and I just love that stuff. So, and the snowmobile chase and the icicle on the eye, so you have all kinds of winter aspects of part 2 that you couldn't have in LA unless you grew an icicle in the freezer and then got someone in the eye. But, so yeah, I don't really have, why were we reviewing? Because it is Christmas, it takes place Christmas?
We're reviewing this one because it's a Christmas movie, and I think it's more so than the first one, even though the first one, oddly enough, has a better Christmas feel. This one looks more Christmas and acts more Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a strange thing where the LA one kind of works better than the other one.
Yeah, isn't that weird as a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
But one thing I just thought of now is, I think there's a kind of a ridiculous, isn't there? Yeah, there's a fight on the plane, wing of a plane that's trolling on the ground, which is a little much.
Yeah, people complained about the John McClane on the wing of a plane in the 4th movie, as it's like falling down and stuff, and it's like, well, they did it in Die Hard too. Nobody really says anything. I mean, they kind of recycled it. I mean, to be fair, that one in Die Hard 4 was kind of moving in air, but
yeah.
I oddly enough, I was perfectly fine with that one, but I kind of laughed at the one in Die Hard 2. Which is on the ground, so I probably shouldn't have. But
yeah, it's more realistic in a way, but
it
has that aspect of being like trying to be like, oh gosh, look at how daunting we are. Plane's moving, it's winter, it's nighttime, and they're fighting on the wing.
It's the problem actually for me is that it's too much like a Sega game. It's like, oh no, here's the mini boss battle, and and it's like da-da-da, and he's about to go down with the fight. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I did kind of like the climax with the lighter and the gas.
Oh yeah, that aspect was kind of cool.
I mean, it's since been debunked on MythBusters. Apparently, that wouldn't have worked.
Damn.
But
yeah. Isn't Robert Patrick one of the bad guys? I think.
Is he? He might be.
He is. Yeah.
I just watched like a couple months ago, and I don't remember seeing him, but he quite possibly.
I think he is, because to me, Robert Patrick always looked a little bit like the main villain. So I was always like, which one is?
He actually kind of does. I didn't think
he
of
does.
Yeah.
One thing, me being a male who is heterosexual, I didn't really appreciate the bad guy's introduction. He did in this hotel room. Remember? He's naked, and he's going.
No, I watched this movie very recently, and I don't remember that. Or very loosely remember that.
But he's naked, he's doing that in front of a mirror, and you get to see his ass. So me being a heterosexual male, I don't appreciate that in Rennie Harlan. So I guess that's pretty much it. Like you say, I think Die Hard 2 is very serviceable. It's as a kid, I liked it. I still like it now, but it's nowhere comes near what is Die Hard.
No, I think it's the worst. It's the low point of the franchise because it didn't do anything really new except for take the Christmas movie into Christmas territory.
Wintry setting.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I am. You guys have a happy Merry Christmas.
Yep, and if you get a chance, watch Die Hard. Die Hard, Die Harder, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and live for your Die Hard.
You don't want to watch Die Hard 2?
Die Harder. That's the.
Oh, Die Harder. Yeah, that's right.
It's the
Die Harder.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Much better title.
Watch Die Harder then. Do you just call Die Hard 2 Die Harder?
Yeah.
In a way, kind of. Well, it is kind of.
I just call it Die Harder.
I see. Do you think they should have just called it Die Harder?
Yeah, certainly.
That is kind of cool, isn't it?
I was kind of hoping for the 5th one to be called Die Harder with a Live Free or Die Harder with a Vengeance, so they could tie them all in together.
Oh gosh, and then the 6th one could be Live Free or Die Harder with a Vengeance 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they would have had all the titles.
Yeah.
Well, Fox, take that up as a consideration.
Yeah.
Catch
Merry
you later.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.